regional semifinals. Second game tonight on CBS Sports. We're in the Jefferson Civic Center. Earlier, Villanova shot Kentucky 80-74. They'll play the winner of the game coming up between the Louisville Cardinals and the Oklahoma Sooners. Hello again, everyone. I'm Dick Stockton, and welcome back here to Birmingham. When you think of the team of the 80s in the NCAA championship, it has to be Louisville. They have been to the Final Four 4 times, and they have won 2 NCAA titles. They are the Kings. However, tonight, they're going up against quite a juggernaut, the #1 seed Oklahoma Sooners, and what a prolific scoring team they are. They were during the football season when they led the nation in scoring, and they've kept it up in the basketball season, averaging over 104 points a game. Louisville coach Denny Crum is not about to back down tonight, though.
We play best at that pace. Now, I don't know if that's good enough, but that's the way we play our best. So if we're going to have a chance against a team with that kind of talent and that's playing as well as they are, and it can put the points on the board and have it, they have got a great defense. They play really well defensively. Yeah, if we're going to play well against a team, we're going to play well at a fast pace because that's the way we practice and play.
So Billy Cunningham, from the sounds of things, it looks like we're going to have 2 teams that want to run and they want to press. Makes for exciting basketball. Are you surprised that Denny Crum wants to run with Oklahoma?
Not at all. I would have been surprised if he didn't, because this is their style. It's gotten them to this point, and why stop? You might make some adjustments here or there, but you keep your same style.
We know about Purvis Ellison, and we know about the center of the ball club, Stacey King, for Oklahoma, but the key could be in the backcourt. Ricky Grace and Mookie Blaylock, one of the best tandems in the country with a lot of experience over Louisville's duo.
And what we're going to see is a lot of defensive pressure in the backcourt. We're going to see this Oklahoma team picking up full court, and we're seeing it right here. And the first problem you have is getting the ball in bounds, and you can see they're out denying the entry pass. But once you get the ball in bounds, this is where the young guard line of the Louisville Cardinals is going to have to make the decision to find the open man. And if they don't find that open man, they're going to run into problems, and they're going to see this right here, the steals, because Oklahoma plays the passing lanes beautifully.
All right, Billy, let's find out how Louisville got here. The Cardinals got to this regional by beating Oregon State and Brigham Young. They're the Metro Conference champions after being out of the tournament last year. Meanwhile, Oklahoma, with an impressive season of their own, beat Tennessee, Chattanooga, and Auburn. Keep in mind that the last 2 teams to knock out Auburn won the NCAA tournament, Louisville and Indiana. So that could be a good omen for the Oklahoma Sooners. The starting lineup for tonight's game, let's take a look at Louisville. Purvis Ellison and Herbert Crook are veterans of the last Cardinals championship team. At Oklahoma, with Harvey Grant, Stacey King up front along with the 2 guards. Billy Tubbs, the coach of Oklahoma. Denny Crum, his opposite number. There's Tubbs. A lot of people thought he rolled up the score this year. He said, no, that's just the way we play. And Denny Crum says Billy Tubbs can play any way he wants. He has that right. Mickey Crowley, David Jones, and Eric Harmon are the officials. We're underway. Louisville in red, Oklahoma in white. Here's Purvis Ellison. A couple of fakes, the first basket of the game.
Well, Purvis Ellison is just playing the best ball he's played at Louisville, even the year they won the championship in '86.
Dave Seeger, number 44. Grace is 14. There is Stacey King, 33. Seeger knocked it away, but a foul called against Oklahoma. Oklahoma's losses to LSU, Kansas State, and Missouri. Louisville lost 10 games this year, but they've been hot down the stretch. Seeger committed the foul.
Here's that trap. The next question is Louisville going to look to attack the trap once they get it across half court?
Keith Williams is the point guard. Kenny Payne, good outside shooter. LeBradford Smith and King the rebound.
Louisville's going to look to try and post up the smaller Oklahoma guards.
Blaylock, the quick, small Oklahoma guards tied up. Both Blaylock and Grace, junior college transfers. Out of bounds, Louisville ball. the series 2-0.
Right there we saw Ellison very fortunate. He shocked, I think, Blaylock. Couldn't believe that ball was thrown right at him. And it's fortunate for Louisville that they retained possession. Both teams like to play that good, aggressive man-to-man defense.
Double team Payne low. And Payne will go up with a shot. Kenny Payne, the top three-point shooter, averaging over 10 points a game. They get Herbert Crook on the basket. And another foul.
This time the foul's on Harvey Grant.
Grant's first foul. That's the second team foul against the Sooners. Crook to LeBradford Smith, and inside Williams doesn't get the roll, and the follow by Herbert Crook.
Well, Louisville answered our question. When they break that trap, they're going to treat it like a fast breaking situation when they outnumber Oklahoma.
Grant inside on the pick and roll scores. Harvey Grant, the leading rebounder and top shooter for Oklahoma. 6-4 Louisville ahead of the pack. Keith Williams, and the foul called against Mookie Blaylock of Oklahoma.
Now they get the ball into Purvis Ellison, who can see right over the top of the defense, and they advance it in the air, having a 3-on-2 situation. And here's Crook getting the offensive boards and putting it back in.
On the line is Keith Williams, a 6'4" sophomore from Louisville who switched from point guard to the second guard this year with the arrival of LeBradford Smith. And his shooting is up considerably from his freshman year.
Well, that's a lot of responsibility to be taken off his shoulders and placed on another freshman, LeBradford Smith, who is the first true freshman to start for a Denny Crum team.
Louisville leads 8-4. Oklahoma the top seed. They've won 18 out of their last 19 games, including 6 straight.
Now offensively, Oklahoma would like to get it inside to their big people.
Blaylock tried to get it inside to Stacey King, and on the turnover, Louisville takes over. Louisville playing its best ball. They've won 14 out of 16 themselves. They've handled the pressure so far.
And they're putting the responsibility on Ellison's shoulders.
And a three-point shot by LeBradford Smith. 11-4. Louisville by 7. Stacey King draws the foul inside. A lot of people think that Oklahoma simply is a scoring machine, but what they do is they force turnovers and score off their defense.
And I would not classify them as a great offensive team. I'd say they're a good offensive team, an exceptional defensive team, as you mentioned, Dick, creating those easy opportunities with the turnovers for layups.
Smith committed the foul. King misses the first free throw. He is a 69% free throw shooter. He is a 6'10" junior from Lawton, Oklahoma. He had 37 points and 9 rebounds in the victory over Auburn.
Hard to believe. His last year he was averaging 7 points a game. This year he's averaged over 22.
Louisville breaking the pressure. Herbert Crook. Tubbs thought he walked, and Crook scores. Billy Tubbs is enraged at the bench. He thought that Herbert Crook took that other step, but the officials were there.
So far, Louisville has shown great poise in attacking the trap.
Harvey Grant hits the jumper. A lot of people think he reminds people of his brother Horace, now with Chicago Bulls of the NBA. A lot of people think they remind him of Bob McAdoo.
Well, he should remind him of Horace. It's his twin brother. Good pressure being applied by Blaylock. You have to handle the ball well against him because he's one of the top in steals in the NCAA.
Ellison quickly doubled. Crook shooting over Grant. Might have forced that. King the rebound. And Grant at the other end is fouled by Herbert Crook. That'll be Crook's first personal foul.
see that this ball club of Oklahoma, when there's any type of a missed shot, turnover, block shot, they're looking to get out and run every opportunity. And right there was an excellent pass, looking up the court and finding Graham.
Earlier tonight, Villanova upset Kentucky 80-74. To reach the Final 8, they'll be in the Southeast Regional Finals on Saturday afternoon against the winner of this game. And you point that Oklahoma running, Louisville has outscored them on the fast break 10-2 thus far. He missed both free throws. So it's still 13-7 Louisville. Baseline jumper by Kenny Payne.
You know, Denny Crum said we were playing our best basketball of the year, and an example of that, in the last BYU game in the tournament, they only committed 6 turnovers.
Seeger, the best three-point shooter on Oklahoma at 40% during the year, connects there. Louisville has been able to break the press almost exclusively so far. LeBradford Smith and Grant the rebound, and here comes Oklahoma the other way.
I don't know, but I'm tired just watching this, and we've only watched 4.5 minutes of basketball.
LeBradford Smith will pick up his second personal foul, and that will bring in Mike Abram off the bench.
Now, how quickly they advance the basketball, and they do it by passing it up the court, not dribbling it.
Louisville will bring in Felton Spencer, a 7-foot sophomore from Louisville, and Mike Abram, a 6'4" senior. Abram replaces LeBradford Smith, who goes out with 2 fouls. So Ellison and Spencer, 6'9" and 7 foot in there. They have size, but Stacey King slices in there anyway for Oklahoma, and it's a 3-point lead Louisville. So the Sooners are coming back in this one.
Well, Spencer's been playing very good ball for them. The big problem he has is he runs into foul trouble too often.
Seeger on the interception. Blaylock for 3. He's got it. Wookie Blaylock. And that ties the score at 15 after Louisville had an early 8-point lead.
And that was the first turnover against the Traps.
Crook gets it across to Ellison. Keith Williams comes right back. 51% shooter. He went from 40 to 51% between his freshman and sophomore year. Seeger misses a 3. King, offensive rebound, blocked by Ellison. Saved by Crook, but he was on the line, and it's still Oklahoma's ball.
Purvis Ellison now has blocked 1 shot in the last 38 games that he's played for Louisville. Now here's Ellison coming from the weak side, giving that help to Spencer and blocking that shot.
United States Grand Prix is as close as most of us ever get to a Formula One machine, until now. The Acura Integra. It's Formula One technology, and it's street legal. The Integra. Precision-crafted performance from Acura.
Oh, it hurts. It hurts. Can you... American Express? My daughter and I just had an accident.
Do you need a doctor?
I think she's got a broken wrist.
That was some trip. I'd like to keep this while you're away at school.
Sure.
I guess nothing for you.
It's got my name on it.
Just in case.
Thank you.
Someone who cares when you're far from home. Membership has its privileges.
American business can save millions of dollars every year with the UPS Next Day Air Letter. Unlike other companies which frequently charge up to $14, UPS, because we're so efficient, charges only $8.50. And we guarantee overnight delivery to every address, coast to coast. The UPS Next Day Air Letter, the super saver of overnight letters.
This is Jim Nance in New York, updating the East Regional game between the top seed Temple and Richmond. 2:45 to go in the first half, and there Tim Perry scores for the Owls, who lead by 7 over Richmond. And Richmond now scores to cut it to 5 as we go back to Birmingham.
All right, Jim, thank you very much. All 5 starters have scored for Louisville. 4 out of 5 for Oklahoma. Only Ricky Grace has not scored. And Oklahoma trailing by 2. They were down by 8, and they tied the ball game. Grant. Quick release. Harvey Grant averaging 21 a game, and that ties it again.
That's a tough shot. He had to shoot that over Purvis Ellison.
Louisville has broken the press now 10 of 11 times if they get it across, and Herbert Crook seems in control.
What they're doing is hitting the big people on the wing and letting them look over the top of the defense to find the guards.
Spencer is doubled. Herbert Crook is open. Rebound by Stacey King. Quickly up court. Grace, who has yet to score. Last touch by Williams. Nearly turned it over. It's still Oklahoma ball. So the Oklahoma press, of course, a lot of times it's not so much getting the turnover, but wearing teams down eventually.
Wearing them down and setting the type of tempo that you would like to play against.
A three-point attempt by Grace, no good, and it's Louisville's ball out of bounds. There's Ellison, who led Louisville as a freshman to the NCAA championship. He's now a junior and traveling called against Herbert Crook. So Denny Crum's Louisville Cardinals are in danger of losing the lead that they've owned throughout. It's Oklahoma's ball.
You can run on the baseline after a score, not after a violation.
Oklahoma's on a 10-2 run now. Looking to taste the lead, but a steal by Herbert Crook. Senior from Louisville. He's the best all-round player on this team, and they've had a bunch of them over the years. Ellison lost his footing, and Ricky Grace lead pass to Mookie Blaylock, and Oklahoma has its first lead of the ball game.
And you see how this Oklahoma team creates their offense. Defensively, turnovers, get out and run. There's another turnover.
Blaylock, and he turned it over. They're going to need an adding machine for the turnovers tonight.
So both teams, Louisville averages over 18 turnovers a game.
Crook ties it up from the baseline. Crook has 8 points to lead Louisville, and it's off the hands of Seeger out of bounds.
Now the problem is no great perimeter shooting. I'll get it out, and they come back and double down inside. Grace makes the steal the easy 2.
Kenny Payne comes back for Louisville, and Craig Hawley, a 6'5" sophomore from Noblesville, Indiana, makes his first appearance of the ball game as Keith Williams goes out.
Interesting how Louisville has had to make all the changes, and you see Oklahoma staying with their same starting 5.
Traveling called on Hawley. Purvis Ellison is on the bench right now, so Felton Spencer, the 7-footer, is the center for Denny Crum. Mike Abram is in there, along with Hawley and Kenny Payne. Turnover. Back and forth. Turnovers being the equal to the score we've got this one.
Just the opposite of the first game we got a chance to see.
And a three-point basket by Kenny Payne. He's the top three-point shooter for Louisville. Temple is in front of Richmond in the other Eastern semifinal in East Rutherford. Ricky Grace penetrates, and a blocking foul called against Herbert Crook, and that'll be his second personal foul. So Crook and LeBradford Smith each with 2 personals for Louisville.
Here's the penetration to the basket. Crook sliding in. Good call by the official, not having himself set.
Terrence Mullins reports to the game for Oklahoma, replacing Dave Seeger. Mullins is a freshman guard from San Francisco. And the 5-second violation. They try to call timeout. It was too late. And a 5-second violation, and it'll be Louisville's ball.
Well, it's just turnover after turnover. Not a very good game so far. Neither team playing the way their coach would like to see them play.
Ellison is back in there. And by the way, that was the 7th turnover on Oklahoma.
And they only average a little over 13 turnovers a game.
Ellison replaces Crook, who goes out with 2 personal fouls, and leading the Cardinals with 8 points.
That's what they'd like to do against the trap. Get it to Ellison, then he has the ability to look over that defense.
Felton Spencer in the high post, double team, Mike Abram. And the ball knocked away by Grace out of bounds. And Oklahoma takes over. 12:06 remaining in the first half. Louisville leading 22-19. They had an 8-point lead and Oklahoma came back.
Now Louisville's in the zone. Playing a 1-3-1 zone.
And they're doubling. Louisville is playing a very good defense. Mullins with a 3 hits. They left him open for the moment. And Terrence Mullins, who's been a key man off the bench for Oklahoma, ties it up at 22. Pressure on Hawley. Grace nearly intercepted. Ellison with a quick pass to Mike Abram. On the follow-up, Kenny Payne for Louisville. So the starting forwards have 15 of Louisville's 24 points. And the Cardinals commit a foul at the other end. It'll be their 15th foul.
Now, when you trap, it's very difficult to match up and check somebody off the defensive boards. And we see right here 2 Cardinals going after that rebound.
Mike Abram committed the foul. Billy Tubbs, before he arrived at Oklahoma, the Sooners managed 20 wins only twice in 63 years. They've done it 7 years in a row now.
I'd have to say he's turned that program around a little bit. You have to think with this tempo, it has to favor Oklahoma. Even though there's a lot of turnovers, it's been a sloppy ball game up to this point. But still, if they can maintain this type of tempo, they're going to convert a lot of these baskets.
With the ball and a 1-point lead. Ellison. Felton Spencer on the follow. He had 16 points against Brigham Young. His points and rebound production per minute the best on the team, even though he comes off the bench.
And if he stayed out of foul trouble, he'd see a lot more in regards to minutes played.
King, Stacey King gets the basket and draws the foul. 6 points for King.
Here's the dish off King, just powering into the basket, picking up the foul.
Spencer's foul. We want to welcome the viewers who have been watching the Temple-Richmond matchup at East Rutherford, New Jersey. We're at the Jefferson Civic Center in Birmingham. Dick Stockton and Billy Cunningham were in the Southeast Regional second game. It's been a pressure game, but a load of turnovers on both sides in this game, and Louisville has been able to handle the full court press by Oklahoma.
Too many, both teams playing a little sloppy, a little out of control at times. I just wonder if it is the pressure of playing, getting to the final 16.
Mike Abram quickly picked up. Keith Williams in the lane. Felton Spencer misses a tip. Loses it now to Blaylock. Mookie Blaylock picked up by Williams defensively. Crowd thought he turned it over. Grace for 3. And Ricky Grace finally gets on the scoreboard with a 3-point basket. And it gives Oklahoma its biggest lead of this first half. Ellison to Abram. 2-on-1. Felton Spencer. And he draws the foul. Stacey King runs away from the pack, and he was hit with his first personal there.
I was very close to getting a technical foul as well with that display.
Oklahoma, look at the shooting, 73% to 61. Louisville has had the edge on the fast break, which is a big surprise after what was expected in this game.
Big surprise, but when you do play against a team that goes full court trap, if you don't attack the basket when you get that advantage across half court, then you're playing right into their hands, and Louisville's going right after them.
Mike Abram leaves the ball game, is replaced by LeBradford Smith, who picked up 2 fouls. Here's Felton Spencer.
That was a kind bounce.
shooter. And if he got more of those, he'd be up in the 80s. Oh, well, it didn't happen a second time.
He tried the same shot.
Grant picked up the loose ball. Now Grace with 9 minutes and 40 seconds remaining in the first half. Mullins. Stacey King and a foul. Let's see if it's on Spencer.
It's on Spencer.
There's Herbert Crook, who has been picked up 2 fouls. Foul was on Keith Williams, his first. King with 8 now is the leading scorer for Oklahoma. In the last 4 games, Stacey King has scored 37, 25, 34, and 35 points for the Sooners. And a steal by Grant. Basket good. No, they say it's a charge into Ellison. No basket.
Now here's the bad pass by Ellison, but he gets right back into the play. Realizes if he goes up to try and block that, he'll pick up a foul, and he draws the charge.
His second foul of the game, and a timeout with 9:31 remaining.
The Florida Keys stretch like an old clothesline for 130 miles. Down here, the locals are called conks. Their ways are old-fashioned, and so are their values. And in a way, ours are too. There are over 4 million miles of roads in Alamo territory, all across America. And whenever you rent a car from Alamo, the rates are low, and all those miles are free, including 130 miles, called the Florida Keys.
Yes, Mrs. Ferber. I'll be right over.
What's up?
It's Alex. He's been burying things in Mrs. Ferber's garden again.
Right here.
Alex, a bottle of Stroh's.
Keep digging.
Nice, Alex. 15-pack.
Keep digging.
With Stroh's and Stroh Light 15 and 30 packs, you get more beer.
How did he get a whole truck down there?
Why don't we ask the driver?
From microchip circuitry to laser technology, the world's largest school for high-tech skills is the Army.
Be all that you can be. Get an edge on life in the Army.
Hey, where did you learn about computers?
In the Army.
You were in the Army, too?
Qualify for the GI Bill and the Army College Fund, and you can earn over $25,000 for college.
What you do in the Army?
Airborne.
You used to jump out of airplanes?
Tomorrow night, regional semifinal action continues. Much of the nation will see Michigan against North Carolina early, except those viewers in Kansas and Tennessee. They'll see Vanderbilt and Kansas. And the later game features Purdue and Kansas State to much of the nation. And those viewers in the West, Minnesota, South Dakota, and Iowa will see Arizona take on Iowa. So Duke wins by a point. Temple is battling Richmond. We saw Villanova upset Kentucky in the first game, and this one is a tight battle. Oklahoma by 3, and it'll be Sooners ball.
Now that went off Grant's leg. Oops, they changed it around again. I guess it went off Ellison.
I think Denny Crum thought it went off Grant's leg. Louisville had an 8-point lead early on. There's Grant. King clears. And finally, Ellison tears it down.
But that's some battle in there with Ellison and King are inside.
Ellison leading Louisville in rebounding. Good fake by LaBradford Smith. And the foul is called against Ricky Grace. That's his first foul.
Now, Ellison goes up, changes King's shot, and back up again, getting that defensive rebound. Playing very strong on the inside. He might look thin, but he plays a lot stronger.
What about the role in this game for Purvis Ellison?
His role so far, he's only been able to get 2 shots up so far in this game, 1 for 2. And because where Denny Crum feels he needs him to attack that trap, he's at the other end of the court, so he is out of the offense right now, and we'll see if that becomes a factor as the game goes on.
He has scored but only 2 points, averaging 17.5 on the year. In fact, he has had 47 points in 2 games in the tournament thus far. Bradford Smith, Kenny Payne, there's Keith Williams, Crook and Ellison are the other 2. They open up the middle.
Oklahoma's in a 2-3 zone.
Use Crook as a high post. They surround him. Good switching by Oklahoma, playing the zone well.
And good patience by this Louisville ball club.
Long-range shot by Payne missed, and the rebound by Grant. Sooners with a 3-point lead, and now make it 5. Stacey King on the feed, and now quickly Oklahoma gets up court. Keep in mind, they are averaging over 104 points a game this year. Louisville breaking the press. Williams, baseline. LeBradford Smith blocked by King. Williams, the basket, and the foul. Great play and great balance by Keith Williams, the sophomore guard.
What a play. Watch this. King making an outstanding defensive play, tipping the ball. But Williams gets control of it, able to draw the foul, and a chance for a 3-point play. Here's another look at this play by King, how quick he gets up off the floor. Williams in the right spot at the right time, able to draw the foul.
Terrence Mullins commits the foul. That's his first. So it's still a 3-point lead for Oklahoma. Williams couldn't connect on the 3, and Williams forces a turnover. LeBradford Smith has Williams and Ellison. Belton Spencer stuffs it.
Well, no one was going to get their hand in the way of that dunk.
If they were smart, and a cooling off for Denny Crum. 17 years and 13 in the NCAA tournament. Tremendous record.
He has rotated his players beautifully throughout this game. The first half and the first 13 minutes of the game, keeping fresh bodies on the court.
You saw 17 turnovers already in this one. Stacey King cleared by Felton Spencer. 7:35 to go in the first half. Oklahoma by 1. Louisville looking to regain the lead. They were down by 5, and Herbert Crook gives them the lead again. Crook now with 10 points to lead the Cardinals. Louisville has run off 6 in a row after trailing by 5, and now the burden of proof is on Oklahoma again. They've answered it once, and Grant is fouled by Purvis Ellison. That'll be Ellison's first foul. Both teams in the bonus now.
Now again, we'll see how the Cardinals get out. They have a 4-on-2 advantage right here. They're lucky that the ball ended up in Spencer's hand, and he was able to turn it into 2.
Here's Harvey Grant. Leading rebounder in the Big 8. Denny Crum shouting his offense. And Oklahoma up by 1. Ellison tip pass to LeBradford Smith. 2-on-1. Smith takes it all the way, and Spencer with a slam again.
Again, the man that makes that happen, though, is Purvis Ellison. He's the one that has to find the open man, and he made that outlet pass for that fast break.
And he's done it virtually every time so far.
And he's the one that's having to sacrifice offensively for the team.
Mookie Blaylock comes in for 3, and Blaylock, a sensation in the Big 8 this year. That's his second 3-point bomb. Look at the shooting. Louisville 56%. Oklahoma in the 60s. Sooners by 2 now. Good position for Felton Spencer.
this has been the story so far in this first half. Purvis Ellison getting that inbounds pass and finding the open man at the other end of the court. Again, outnumbering Oklahoma when the ball goes to the basket, and there's the easy basket for Spencer.
Belton Spencer, meanwhile, picks up his second foul, and Kenny Payne will come in, replacing Spencer for Louisville. He's played well.
Played well, but he gets a little fatigued with this pace of this ball game. But that's what Denny Crum's doing. He's utilizing his bench beautifully.
Spencer goes out with 7 points and 5 rebounds. King misses the front end of the 1-and-1 in the rebound by Kenny Payne. 6:20 remaining in the first half. Oklahoma leading 37-35. Ellison gets the roll. That's only his second basket of the ball game.
Well, they didn't put the full court pressure on. Ellison was able to get involved in the set offense.
Seeger. Grant scores over Ellison. Quick release, and he had Ellison's hand in his face.
Don't turn around. Here they come again.
And Ricky Grace unable to save the ball, and they call the foul against LaBradford Smith, I believe. Let's see if it is. And if it's Smith, it'll be number 3 on him. And it is 3 on LaBradford Smith.
Now here's the long pass. Let's see if Grace gets his hand in there. Well, that looked like, if anything, it was a foul on Grace.
I'd agree. And a costly foul for Louisville, because the freshman sensation from Bay City, Texas, has to leave the game with 3 fouls, and Mike Abram replaces him. Smith has scored just 3, but you don't want to lose him. You're going to need him in the second half.
Well, he's the lead guard for this ball club, and so far the 2 guards, starting guards, Williams and Smith, have done a fine job. They haven't made any careless passes. The decision-making has been very good.
1 out of 2 for Grace, but an easy chance inside for Grant, and he scores on the second effort. So the Cardinals just fell asleep on the defensive board there. Crook with 5:35 remaining, and a 5-point lead for Oklahoma matches their biggest lead of this half. Ellison on the looping pass from Crook inside. How well they've worked together over the years.
That was a perfect example of it, and there's an advantage of Louisville allowing. They have another big man that has the ability to break that pressure.
Laylock. Ellison gets the rebound. At the outset, you were talked about the key being the guards, the inexperience of Louisville, and so far they passed the test.
Passed the test beautifully, mainly because of Purvis Ellison.
Right. Well, you always need a little help, right, to pass it.
Well, that's good coaching, you know, to realize how you want to attack this. And Denny Crum had 5 days to prepare his team for this.
Under 5 minutes to go in the half. They're all over Crook. Ellison one-on-one for the moment. Hits on the turnaround. 8 points for Purvis Ellison, so he's starting to get that scoring machine going. Temple by 5 over Richmond. And the rebound inside. Payne. And Louisville can take the lead again. They were just down by 5, it seems, less than a minute ago. Crook leans in and draws the foul.
You know, the most useless thing in this building, the 45-second clock.
You're right. That has not been a factor, to say the least, as Belton Spencer getting set to return to the game. He has 2 personal fouls. Keith Williams on the bench. Dave Seeger committed his second foul, and here is Herbert Crook.
Last year, he was MVP of the Metro Conference.
And a disappointing year, not so much for Crook, but for Louisville. They were 18-14. They didn't get the bid. You know the whole story. They lost 10 games to teams in the top 20. Denny Crum said, you know, if we had scheduled poor teams and had a better record, would that have made a difference? And maybe the committee paid heed to that this time.
They should, because that's one of the #1 priorities. You know, what kind of a schedule you have.
Louisville has scored 6 in a row, and timeout.
Let's go.
I can't. I gotta cut the grass.
Maybe tomorrow will start.
It'll start. Come here, I'll show you.
Oh,
Oh, no. Oh, yes.
Only Toro offers the GTS guarantee. Your GTS engine will start on the first or second pull for 2 years, or Toro will fix it free.
Hey, Eddie.
Yeah, Dad?
Come here.
Oh, no. Oh, yes.
Other Toro mowers start at only $299.95.
How to shave an angel. For heaven's sake, use the Gillette Good News Plus disposable. It's got the Lubra-Smooth strip, so the comfortable shave for an angel is...
This little devil.
Good News Plus from Gillette.
Now, everywhere in the world you can dial direct. You can dial direct with MCI. Everywhere.
Ujambo.
Until you call, you'll never know how much better a long-distance company can be.
From a land where rare wood and fine leather have defined luxury for centuries. Where craftsmanship is the most precious gift a father can bestow a son. Where they revere tradition, yet reserve the right to change it. A car like the Sterling was almost inevitable.
Of us were sitting around talking about the future. Now, only 3 of us are left.
Tour of...
Jim Nance in New York, updating the East Regional Semifinal. The top seed Temple still leading by less than 10. It was a 6-point lead at the intermission. Tim Perry with a big night. He's got 11 points as he cans that one. 7-point lead by the Owls. We'll take you there live at halftime. But right now, back to Birmingham.
We have 4 minutes and 27 seconds remaining in the first half here. Louisville leads Oklahoma 43-42. Cardinals jumped out to an 8-point lead. Oklahoma came back twice. They've had 5-point leads. But Louisville keeps coming back. They've handled the pressure. Here's Mookie Blaylock. Grant hits from the corner. Didn't get the best of passes, but he recovered. And now Harvey Grant is the high scorer in the ball game with 14.
Well, he can flat out shoot the basketball, and he showed it from the inside as well as from the outside.
Greg Hawley hits the jump shot. The 8th man and the hero against South Carolina in an overtime win earlier this year. He hits a big basket to give the Cardinals the lead again. Trying to save it is Grant, and he does. Inside, King misses. Spencer the rebound.
Should have just laid it in.
Less than 3.5 to go. So Craig Hawley and Mike Abram working with Felton Spencer, Purvis Ellison, and Kenny Payne. There's Ellison trapped. Payne has it stripped away by Blaylock. Great play by Mookie Blaylock. A 4-on-1 break for Oklahoma, and King gets the layup.
He laid that one in. He didn't try and dunk that one.
The effects of the pressure, even if Louisville is able to break it, Billy, what would it be?
It's going to be interesting in the second half. Will fatigue become a problem? Because this Oklahoma team plays this way for 40 minutes every night.
2:45 to go in the half. 46-45 the Sooners. Ellison misses outside. Harvey Grant the rebound, and the foul called against Kenny Payne. That'll be his first personal foul, but they'll shoot at the other end, 1-1.
That's usually a sign of fatigue when you take that quick jump shot. You know, that Purvis Ellison, he's supposed to be in a little closer to the basket. And sometimes you settle for shots that you normally don't take.
There's Grant. And he does bear a resemblance to Bob McAdoo.
He does. It shoots the basketball very well, just like his brother, too. His brother can shoot, fill it up.
Well, I would think that he would be similar to his brother.
Well, yeah, but I mean, shooting the basketball, that doesn't mean he has to be, you know, they're twin brothers, they can look alike, but it doesn't mean they shoot the basketball the same way.
Keith Williams replaces Craig Hawley for Louisville. And Oklahoma. Spencer last touched it, so it's still Sooners ball. Kenny Payne will check back in, and Purvis Ellison is going to get a breather. Ellison goes out of the ball game. He has scored 8 points.
Spreading the court, looking for one of their two guards to just penetrate and create for himself or a teammate.
Ricky Grace. A three-point shot by Ricky Grace, his second three-pointer. And now Oklahoma's matched its biggest lead of 5. Every time they do, though, Louisville comes back. Abram feeding Spencer. And here they are again.
Well, they get it to the big guy down low, and he knows what to do with it.
Grace drives in. And a foul against Mike Abram. So the pattern has been there. 5-point lead Oklahoma. Louisville comes back. Here's a good pass.
Yeah, Crook finding the open man. Abram to Spencer. Ooh, almost a foul there by King, reaching in.
Second foul by Abram, and here is Ricky Grace. Ricky Grace is just 6'1", a junior from Dallas. Said he wasn't concerned about facing bigger guards. Williams, 6'4", LeBradford Smith, 6'3", says I get posted up all the time.
Nothing new, but we're seeing that the guards, Blaylock and Grace, are starting to penetrate. You wonder if the fatigue is becoming a problem for the guards of Louisville, not being able to move their feet and stop that penetration.
Oklahoma, though, has not really done as well at the line. They are 9 for 18, 50% from the free throw line at this point. So you're watching the 45-second shot clock winding down to 2 minutes to go. And there is the turnover, one of the few, and Blaylock misses. Seeger taps it out. Grace for 3, and nearly interference on top of the rim. And they'll call the foul against Stacey King. Second personal foul on King.
And that's why Louisville wants to get the ball into Purvis Ellison or a bigger player so he can look over the top. That time Williams had the ball, was surrounded, couldn't see over the top of the defense.
Earlier tonight in the East Regional in East Rutherford, Duke with a 1-point victory over Rhode Island. They'll play the winner of Temple and Richmond. Temple ahead in that one. The Eastern Regional teams are matched up against the Midwest in Pontiac. Ellison, with a short breather, will return to the ball game for the Cardinals. And Crook will sit down. A 12-point lead for Temple. Ramon Rivas, 4 personal fouls, so that could be a factor in the second half of that game. Andre Wiley, a 6'5" junior from Flint, Michigan, makes his first appearance of the game, and he replaces Harvey Grant, who goes out with 15. He is the high scorer in the ball game.
You know, Wiley had a big game against Tennessee Chattanooga. He scored 16 points in that first game in the NCAA tournament.
Kenny Payne with the free throws. Oklahoma's lead is down to 2. Seeger way short on the three-point attempt. And it's going to be Oklahoma ball as it's last touched by Felton Spencer.
Well, that's twice now, last 2 times down, that Spencer has just not been able to get control of the ball.
But barring fatigue, Louisville has hung in there with the Oklahoma Sooners.
Well, we can see why Denny Crum came out to play their game.
King missed an inside shot. He's missed a few that way tonight, and Mike Abram comes out of it. Less than a minute and a half to play. Spencer will call the Oklahoma foul inside. "26 times Oklahoma has put the pressure on. It's been broken 21 times by Louisville.
So that is just showing you that it has not been a factor, really, for Oklahoma, but what it's doing is also creating a fatigue problem for Louisville.
Wiley committed the foul, but Spencer missed the front end of the 1-and-1. And Oklahoma with the ball and a 2-point lead into Stacey King. Trying to keep alive is Andre Wiley. Sooners still have it. And there's a 3-point bomb by Seeger. And Dave Seeger with his second 3-point shot. That's all the points he has. In fact, against Auburn, all of his 15 points came on 3-point shots. Here's Williams. Ellison, one-handed from the baseline. What a shot.
If he didn't do that, it would have been blocked by Grace.
Under a minute to go, Oklahoma leads by 3. And we're in the 50s. So we could be in the 90s or more tonight.
Well, guess what? You're going to be able to take a breather. There's only 37 seconds left, and they're going to go for the last shot.
I can't what Denny Crum said yesterday about what would decide this game. He said defense will win. And I think ultimately, somehow, some way it will.
Well, both teams have been creating a lot of their offense from their defense.
You're watching the clock, and Oklahoma will set up the final play. Race for three, short. Has another chance with 3 seconds to go. Wiley tries to tip it in.
Wiley got away.
There was a foul.
Wiley pushed Purvis Ellison right out off the court, and it drew the foul.
With no time showing on the clock. There's a foul.
Watch Wiley coming to the basket, just pushing Purvis Ellison. And now he's able to go to the foul line with no time left on the clock.
Kenny Payne picked up the foul, his second. The first half is over, and all that remains are the 2 shots by Andre Wiley, who is a 74% shooter from the line. So Oklahoma is mediocre from the free throw stripe in this first half. 1 out of 2 will give Oklahoma a 4-point lead. And that's the end of the first half with the score. Oklahoma 55 and Louisville 51. CBS Sports coverage of the NCAA Basketball Championship will continue after this message and a word from your local station.
CBS Sports coverage of the NCAA Basketball Championship is sponsored by Sterling, the inevitable British road car. Your local Toro dealer. Haven't you done without a Toro long enough? And by the U.S. Army, where you get an edge on life. Be all you can be.
From a land where rare wood and fine leather have defined luxury for centuries. Where craftsmanship is the most precious gift a father can bestow a son. Where they revere tradition, yet reserve the right to change it. A car like the Sterling was almost inevitable.
I've devised my own way to cook perfect steaks without slicing them open. I cook an extra little piece, and I test it. No one ever knows. Because I eat the evidence. Beef, real food for real people.
Billy D. Williams talks about changing times.
Times sure are changing. The girl called me up and asked me for a date. Says she's making the dinner reservations. Says she's coming to pick me up. Well, at least I can still say to her, how about a nice, cool, smooth Colt 45?
Hi. How about a nice, cool, smooth Colt 45?
The power of Colt 45. It works every time.
Every night while you're sleeping, UPS is maintaining its status as the only company that delivers overnight to every address coast to coast. And now we guarantee it. Introducing UPS Next Day Air Guarantee. And because we're so efficient, we'll still do it for up to half what other companies charge, which is guaranteed to cause our competition some sleepless nights. UPS, we run the tightest ship in the shipping business.
More than a game. Big-time college basketball, the world behind the hype and the hoopla. 48 hours, 1 week from tonight.
This is CBS.
Sure, I'm hard to please. That's why I went to a Jeep Eagle dealer. And I'll tell you, I'm glad I did, for a lot of reasons.
One reason is the 1988 Eagle Premier, the car with European sophistication and handling, with more people room and more horsepower than Chevy Celebrity or Pontiac 6000. And it's only at your Jeep Eagle dealer.
You go to a dealer hoping for the best. There, you can expect it.
See your New England Jeep Eagle dealers, where you can expect the best.
Each year at summer camps, thousands of disadvantaged young people are offered a chance to succeed. The Salvation Army, believing in youth.
The Oklahoma Sooners have nailed 7 3-point shots and lead over Louisville 55-51, halftime in Birmingham Southeast Regional Semifinal. Nance and James Brown back in New York. That game has had 16 lead changes, and Oklahoma 4 up here at the intermission. Now the first team tonight to move into the field of 8, the Sweet 8, or the Great 8, I guess it is, the Duke University Blue Devils, James.
It was a victory not without price, though. Duke University came away 73-72 victor over Rhode Island in the East Regional semifinal, that is. But John Smith, a key player off the bench for the Duke Blue Devils, broke his hand, a major loss. He'll be lost for the entire tournament to Duke. That could cost him down the stretch. They moved to the East Region Finals on Saturday. Villanova, a 6-point winner over Kentucky. 5 Villanova players in double figures. Villanova perfect from the free throw line, 17-17. Their Cinderella dream still alive. Now, right now, taking place in the East, the game between Temple and Richmond. Temple showing why it led the nation in field goal defense, limiting Richmond to 38% shooting, and they're also shooting extremely well themselves from the field. They have a lead, as you saw there. Let's go to our announcers, Tim Brandt and Bill Raftery.
I want to welcome those of you who have been watching the Oklahoma-Louisville game. And at the half, we've got 9 minutes and 13 seconds remaining. Temple leads Richmond 57-42. Tim Brandt and Bill Raftery with you from the Meadowlands in New Jersey. And Temple looks every bit as strong as the #1 seed. 38% shooting percentage for Richmond. That's been the difference. And look at Temple, 67% from the field. And front court scoring, of course, for Temple, 32-15.
Woolfolk with the foul that particular time, but continually getting good shots. And, of course, when they're under duress, they're able to create and make the jumper as well. So Temple, very impressive, and no inside game, really, for Richmond.
Here in the East region, Duke has already advanced. Bacon, turnaround, fires, and hits. He now has 19 points.
What a show. Right now, Richmond.
Stapleton has the shot. Billy passes it up.
Deep trouble.
That's a little tentative on the sky hook. Rebound, Perry.
One and done. The sequence is over. Not able to finish too many trips right now.
Earlier tonight, Duke was impressive over Rhode Island, winning by only 1, but very strong down the stretch. Very composed as Rhode Island made a run at him.
Looks like chalk is prevailing, huh? And that won't deter Breezeway. It doesn't bother him that he missed that one. He'll come back, take another. Not the least bit concerned.
This game was close for most of the first half. Peter Woolfolk had 8.7 rebounds for Richmond. Ken Atkinson hit 3 three-pointers. But then Temple went on a run and led 32-26 at the half. This is Stapleton. His shot not close. Rebound Johnson. And he loses it out of bounds. It'll be Spider ball.
Really, an outside game is all they're getting. The long jumper, if it doesn't go in, sayonara.
Derek Brantley comes in for Temple. Johnson will sit down. Well, I'll guarantee you Johnson weighs more than 200 pounds.
He's in your league.
He's in my league. That's the heavyweight division. Watch Breezeway.
Becoming unraveled right now. Double tick.
Good idea, poor execution.
Yeah.
He was going after Macon.
And John Chaney not losing his energy, is he? He's upset at that play. He doesn't like any nonsense. This is why they're a good team.
Now, Temple has only 5 turnovers in the ball game. Richmond has 10, and yet it's John Chaney who's off the bench.
They defend him personally when they make a mistake like that. He's very sound.
Woolfolk fouled by Evans. It's been well done.
You know, looking at John Chaney, I've known him for a long time. The only crime in the success that he's enjoying now is that he had to wait so long to get that opportunity, getting close to age 50. And I think of so many other guys who deserve opportunities like Don Corbett down in North Carolina A&T, Dave Whitney at Alcorn State, and Clarence Big House Gaines at Winston-Salem. But maybe John Chaney's success will help in that regard.
It's amazing, his team, how few turnovers they commit. We did see one, however, there behind the back pass. It got away from him, but only 5 turnovers. It looks like Temple and Duke on Saturday for the East Regional Final. That'll be the first game we'll have for you on Saturday. The first team out of that, of course, will be the first team going on to Kansas City. Now, women on their way to the road to Tacoma. Let's show you some of their scores. #1 team in the nation, Tennessee, over James Madison tonight by 20. Virginia, a winner over Rutgers. The great Sue Wicks finished her career for Rutgers tonight, scoring 17 in her final game. Texas over Stanford. The Lady Longhorns have won 23 straight. Louisiana Tech pulled away from Mississippi in the second half. So the women's East and Midwest brackets look like this. Saturday, Tennessee goes against Virginia, Texas against Louisiana Tech. Now at Long Beach State a winner over Washington, 49ers 19th consecutive win. Auburn over Georgia as Mayola Bolton hit the game winner with 12 seconds left. Maryland a winner over Ohio State. Vicky Bullitt had 33. The brackets look like this now for the West and Mid-East. Long Beach State will take on the winner of Iowa USC, and Auburn takes on Maryland. A reminder, we'll have the women's championship game April the 3rd here on CBS, 4 o'clock Eastern time from Tacoma. Now tomorrow night, most of you will see Michigan against North Carolina. People in Kansas and Tennessee will see Kansas against Vanderbilt. That's 8 o'clock Eastern time. Then most of you will see Kansas State versus Purdue. And people in Iowa and out west will see Iowa, Arizona. Of course, we'll be updating you on all the scores as the night goes on. Primetime doubleheader again tomorrow night. We'll get you back to Oklahoma and Louisville. Second half coming up right after this.
Some people believe that drugs and alcohol guarantee a good time. They think they're too smart to become dependent on drugs. Or if they drink a little too much, it doesn't matter. Well, it does matter. If you are into drug and alcohol abuse, you'll end up paying a high price. And not just in money. Ask yourself if the so-called fun is worth the loss of your self-respect, your health, your future, or your life.
This message furnished by the NCAA.
What college and college athletics did for me was teach me a sense of dedication and hard work and what you can accomplish if you're willing to spend the time and the effort. I think it's taught me a lot from an athletic standpoint about teamwork and being able to fit in within an organization and honing your interpersonal skills so that you can mesh with other people and actually make the sum greater than the whole. I think that those are the things that I've learned most, and have probably contributed as much to my success, whatever it is, that I have right now. I play basketball and lacrosse at Johns Hopkins. I always noticed that my grades were better during the seasons that I was playing. I guess I found that by playing athletics and being a part of a team that it's taught you something about life and how important it is to work hard and have a sense of purpose along with the other individuals that you're working with.
This message furnished by the NCAA.
I did it! I did it!
Did what?
I just invented the wheel.
May I make a suggestion?
Sure.
Try these.
What are they?
Monroe Gasmatic Shocks. They'll give you the best ride ever. Guaranteed. Monroe Shocks and Struts are the next best thing to the wheel.
Guaranteed.
In writing, pal.
Ooh. Hey! Yeah, great ride!
Looks like we won't have to reinvent the wheel for another, million years.
Hey, no wonder America rides Monroe!
Every night while you're sleeping, UPS is maintaining its status as the only company that delivers overnight to every address coast to coast. And now we guarantee it. Introducing UPS Next Day Air Guaranteed. And because we're so efficient, we'll still do it for up to half what other companies charge, which is guaranteed to cause our competition some sleepless nights. UPS, we run the tightest ship in the shipping business.
Almost ready for the second half. Oklahoma leading Louisville 55-51. And, of course, one of the keys to this game has been the way Louisville has handled Oklahoma's trap defense. They're behind by 4, but they have hung in there. And how precisely they've been able to do it, Bill?
The key man is Purvis Ellison right there. They're getting him the basketball, and then he has to make the decision. What do I do with it? Where's the open man? And right here we see him find Smith there wide open, and now it's off and running for the fast break. The big question is, does Billy Tubbs make an adjustment and try and deny the ball into Purvis Ellison and maybe do a better job with their press?
All right, CBS Sports coverage of the NCAA Basketball Championship will continue after this message and a word from your local station.
used to be an economy car was efficient and affordable, but somewhat boxy. That was then. This is now. The new aerodynamic four-door Civic from Honda.
Becoming an American Express card member is now as simple as picking up one of these, because now you can apply for membership over the phone. Membership has its privileges. To apply, call 1-800-THE-CARD.
This is CBS.
Be one of America's winners when you bring home savings from Dodge. Combine our cashback and discount packages for big savings on most new Dodge cars and trucks in stock. Save big on cars. $1,525 on Daytona Shelby Z. Save on trucks. $1,900 on full-size Ram pickups. $2,250 on selected Dakota 4x2s. Save on imports. $1,356 on Ram 50. $955 on Colt DL. So see your Dodge dealer today and be one of America's winners.
It's gotta be a Dodge.
There is a need in your own hometown. Please join your local chapter.
Sports coverage of the NCAA Basketball Championship is sponsored by the Heartbeat of America, today's Chevrolet. Reebok basketball shoes. Reebok, because life is not a spectator sport. And by Budweiser. Beechwood aged for that clean, crisp taste. This Bud's for you.
If it weren't for the three-point field goals, Oklahoma would be in a lot of trouble. But that's how well they've done, 7 of 11 from three-point range. Louisville, that's a surprise, with 35 fast break points. And on the free throw line, well, the poor free throw shooting by Oklahoma would prevent a bigger lead. They're only 10 for 20. Ellison has sacrificed his offense to break the trap. As we saw, he has 10 points. But Felton Spencer off the bench has 9 points, and he has really helped Louisville. Underway in the second half, Blaylock and Grace in the backcourt with Seeger up front. It's King and Grant. Keith Williams and LeBradford Smith, the guard for Louisville. And it's Crook, Ellison, and Payne inside. Grant hits it just inside the three-point line. He's got 17. We want to welcome the viewers who have been watching Temple against Richmond. We're at the Jefferson Civic Center in Birmingham, Alabama. Dick Stockton and Billy Cunningham. Early here in the second half, Oklahoma leading Louisville 57-51. The winner will play Villanova on Saturday for the Southeast Regional Championship and a right to move to the Final Four. Inside, Crook knocks the ball away. Loose ball into the hands of Grant. What kind of game has it been?
Up and down. At times it's been very sloppy, but we're seeing right now that this Oklahoma team is getting the ball inside and they're going to their big man, and that's King.
If you just joined us, Louisville has outshot Oklahoma, who are under 50%. They're unbeaten when they're 50% or more. Louisville has had the big edge on the fast breaks. Personal foul was on Purvis Ellison. Ellison has 10. The leading scorer is Herbert Crook for Louisville with 12. And Harvey Grant, 17, leads Oklahoma. Now a 59-51 game, and Oklahoma putting the pressure on. Grant now with 19.
Well, we talked about adjustments that Billy Tubbs might make defensively with the full court pressure. Not going to the trap. They're playing straight man-to-man, and this has confused the Louisville Ball Club coming out of the locker room.
Keith Williams throws the ball away. Keep in mind that in the first half, that feigned pressure by Oklahoma did no damage. Louisville handled it almost every time. Grace gets it back, and it's off the hands of King. Benny Crumb's Cardinals, been a team of the 80s, would love to get back to the Final Four after not getting in the tourney last year. And Ellison on the follow-up scores. He just cut the lead to 6.
Ellison just outfought King for that offensive board.
22 turnovers in the game. That's a lot. But maybe for this pace it isn't. Crook nearly knocked it away. And Harvey Grant now with 21 points matches his season's average.
He hasn't missed a jump shot. From 8 feet, from 15 feet, he's on fire.
Confusion, loose ball, and they turn it over again. And Oklahoma has it. And now it's up to Denny Crum to try to keep the Cardinals from unraveling here, down by 8 points. This is the biggest lead that either side has had in the game. Oklahoma with an 8-point lead. Louisville had an 8-point lead early. And Grant again. 23 points, 8 already in this second half. Grace intercepts the pass down court.
So the key has been the adjustment by Jimmy Tubbs.
Laylock missing outside. Rebound. Stacey King will go to the line. You talked about an adjustment that Billy Tubbs might have, and it's worked.
You also wonder if fatigue doesn't become a problem. When you play against an Oklahoma team or a team that plays this style, you're not going to play a 40-minute game. You're going to play a 60-minute game, and you better be in that type of condition.
Herbert Crook goes out of the game, and the 7-foot Felton Spencer, who scored 9 points off the bench, replaces him. Oklahoma has outscored Louisville 8-2 this half. All of the points coming from Harvey Grant. And the Sooners have struggled at the free throw line. They were 50%. 1 out of 2 for King.
They're not an exceptional foul shooting team. They shoot about 70% for the year.
And the lead is 11. Keith Williams bringing it up against Mookie Blaylock. LeBradford Smith, the outstanding freshman, who has scored only 3 points. Smith gets the basket, and the foul called against Ricky Grace of Oklahoma. We now would like to welcome the rest of our audience who have been watching Temple and Richmond in the Eastern Regional. Oklahoma has moved out now to a 9-point lead. It was 11 moments ago. Temple has advanced to the Eastern Regional Final against Duke with a victory over Richmond, so it'll be the chalk, Duke and Temple, the top seeds, going at it Saturday at East Rutherford. Villanova scored an upset over Kentucky in the first game, and they'll play the winner of this game.
And Louisville's back into their 2-3 zone. They can't afford many more fouls.
King has the ball knocked away, and here come the Cardinals. Down by 8 points. Seeger forces the turnover, now in the hands of Blaylock. Turnovers galore by both sides, and every time Oklahoma has opened up a big lead, Louisville's come back. Question is, will they do it here? And now, Oklahoma's Stacey King stepped on the line, will turn it over as Mike Abrams comes back in the ball game for Louisville, and he'll replace Keith Williams.
Game's getting a little sloppy. We've seen 3 consecutive turnovers. Again, now we see it's just straight man-to-man, full-court pressure. Now the guards have the responsibility.
LeBradford Smith across the middle. And LeBradford Smith, who came in averaging 12 and a half, now 8 points, 5 in the last couple of minutes. Ricky Grace short on the three-point attempt. Mike Abrams the rebound. Out now to Kenny Payne. Louisville making a run. Ellison. Tough pass in a crowd. Seeger gets it out to Blaylock, and here come the Sooners. Louisville got back impressively defensively, and an offensive foul has been called against Stacey King, and that'll be his 3rd personal foul.
Well, the game's getting a little too quick for both teams, and that's why the turnover, we're seeing so many turnovers. Now there's the offensive foul. Good acting job to draw that charge.
So yet another turnover, the 3rd in a row. Ellison and King, the two highly regarded centers, each with 3 personal fouls. King goes to the bench, and Andre Wiley, the 6'5 junior, replaces him. Elton Spencer doesn't have real good hands, loses it to Grant, who gets the easy 2. You wonder why Spencer is back there handling the ball to try to break the pressure.
That's a good question. And I'm sure Denny Crum would like to see him on the other side of the court. They're just getting that ball over within 10 seconds.
Ball knocked away, and here comes Blaylock. Blaylock and Grace teamed up.
They're going to need a timeout.
It's a 10-point lead. They cut it down from 11, but Oklahoma on the move again with 15-17 to play.
With every Budweiser enjoyed, the promise endures. The promise of genuine quality. Quality you can taste. Clean, crisp, Beechwood aged Budweiser. Always certain, always satisfying. Because we know you wouldn't have it any other way. That's why this Bud's for you.
Listen to the heartbeat. Listen to the heartbeat of America. Oh, yeah.
Moving into more car doesn't have to be expensive or boring. Today's Chevrolet Celebrity. It's for people who've grown up without growing old.
The heartbeat of America. Yesterday, Chevrolet.
American business can save millions of dollars every year with the UPS Next Day Air letter. Unlike other companies which frequently charge up to $14, UPS, because we're so efficient, charges only $8.50. And we guarantee overnight delivery to every address, coast to coast. The UPS Next Day Air letter, the super saver of overnight letters.
The Yo-Yo Man is coming to the Smothers Brothers Comedy Hour, Wednesday.
James Brown here in New York with an update on that impressive Temple victory over Richmond. It was a strong second-half defensive performance by Temple that did it, limiting Richmond to only 21 points in the second half. These are the closing seconds of the victory there. John Chaney shaking the hand of Dick Tarrant. Richmond only 6 points in the last 9 minutes. Temple moves on for a date with Duke. Let's take you back to Birmingham, Dick and Billy.
All right, James Brown, thank you very much. Oklahoma with a 10-point lead. Louisville has turned it over 7 times in nearly 45 of this half.
There's the difference in the pressure. They're just picking up full court man-to-man. Then they look for a little trap from the rear at near midcourt.
Ellison has been the man to break the trap throughout the game. They want it in his hands. Abram is trapped now, and Spencer played a lot today. The 7-foot sophomore from Louisville had 9 points in the first half. LeBradford Smith fouled, and there'll be a shooting situation with exactly 5 minutes gone by here in the second half. Turnovers and the points as a result. Actually, Louisville has gone to town more on the scoring after the turnover.
If Louisville has the ability to get the ball down the court and look inside, they have a big size advantage now inside, because the only big player they have on the court now is Harvey Grant, who's about 6'8", and the rest of the players, you know, are 6'6" and under. But with Spencer and Ellison in there, that's a big advantage for this Louisville ball club.
Blaylock committed the foul at the other end. Oklahoma has 3 team fouls, Louisville 2. Grant again. He's 6 for 6 this half, 27 points, and 12 points of the 27 have come here in the second stanza. Here's the pressure. Ellison has it knocked away from behind. Great play by Blaylock, and he throws it away. Abram will go in and get the layup. You can't figure from one end to another the way these turnovers have resulted in points, and LeBradford Smith appears to have hurt his knee. And
now, again, coming out of that timeout, Billy Tubbs has adjusted his trap. They're going back to the two double teaming when the ball is entered onto the court. Now here's where LeBradford trailing the play, coming in, looking to jump. Looked like he got bumped from the rear by Wiley, and that's where he lost control and came down wrong on his foot.
So LeBradford Smith goes out. So does Kenny Payne, Keith Williams, and Herbert Crook come in. Crook and Ellison each with 12 points. Those two are part of Louisville's national championship team in '86. And Wiley gets in there and scores.
What a play by Grace, going to his right and passing back to his left.
Herbert Crook and Ellison. Two veterans of this club. Ellison near midcourt. Abram, good, tight, extended defense by Oklahoma right here.
And that's what they have to do with this smaller lineup. Really extend and make the court bigger to make up for their lack of size.
Abram gets in position to score. They had to work hard for a basket there, Louisville.
Very hard. And you notice that they didn't have the patience either to look inside to their strength. They're big people with this small lineup that Oklahoma has.
They double-team Grant.
Well, Horace is just looking for the ball. He thinks that basket is big as Harvey's looking for it because he thinks the basket looks so big to him right now.
Seeger misses a three, and Felton Spencer clears, so Louisville trying to make a run, down by 8. Plenty of time remaining, 13 minutes and 10 seconds to go. Winner will play Villanova. Surprise winner over Kentucky. Keith Williams scored at 72-66. What's coming in was Oklahoma's veteran guards against the inexperience of Louisville, and they're hanging in, and Grant picks up his third personal foul.
Here's the post-up, hooking Ellison. The official caught him. So that's the third foul on Harvey Grant.
And all three of his fouls have been offensive fouls tonight. Louisville down by 6.
Showing good patience this time down, Louisville, with their set offense. They want to look inside if they can to their big people.
Spencer, good move inside. Ellison with the follow. Purvis Ellison has 14 points. He only had 2 points in the first 10 minutes of this game. And Louisville has run off 6 in a row. Grant, short. But on the other end is Mookie Blaylock. And he connects inside the three-point line.
How do you leave someone with the basketball standing out there for an open shot? Two Cardinals left the open man.
Especially in this game.
Exactly right.
6-point lead, Oklahoma. They have not been able to extend the lead that much. Cardinals have come back. Biggest lead, 11 by the Sooners. Keith Williams comes back. He's in double figures, so LeBradford Smith and Keith Williams each have scored 10.
And the pressure that Oklahoma was applying a few minutes earlier is not as strong and not as effective as it was, and now they're allowing this Cardinal team to come down and get in their set offense.
Kenny Payne returns, and Felton Spencer gets a hand. He leads with 9 points, but he's had an active game all over the floor. King, Stacey King in the lane. King playing with 3. Grant has 3. And for Louisville, Ellison and Smith each with 3 personals.
Billy Tubbs had no choice. He had to get his big man in that game because they were starting to get hurt on the inside.
So when Crum took out Spencer, the 7-footer, Tubbs brought in King, the 6'10 junior. And Herbert Crook with 14. He and Ellison lead the Cardinals scorer. Down to 4 points with 11 minutes to go. Look at the shooting this half. Louisville has hardly missed. Grant. Rebound by Kenny Payne. Chance to cut it to 2. Crook throws it away into the hands of Dave Seeger. Ricky Grace, coast to coast. Out of bounds. And Louisville with another opportunity. Two highly successful coaches going at it today for the right to get to the Final Eight. Purvis Ellison leaves the game, and LeBradford Smith returns. So Ellison out, Smith in, and so does Spencer return for Louisville.
Well, we see Denny Crum is rotating his players the same way he did in the first half. He wants to have his players as fresh as possible against this Oklahoma team. And now we see that Oklahoma team backing off defensively. We don't see that defensive pressure that we've seen for 30 minutes.
Abram looking inside and throws it away into the hands of King. King was right there in front. Seeger to Grant. Throws up a wild shot. And here's LeBradford Smith. He's got Crook. Slows it up. They had a chance for the break. Crook banks it in after the up bank. And Crook with 16 now. Matches the season's average.
And it's the defense now of Louisville.
Seeger, three. Dave Seeger with his third three-point shot. Keep in mind, he's 40% from that range this year.
Cancel that defense.
What defense? But they're playing it.
Yep, they're working hard out here.
Missing the three, Kenny Payne. Oklahoma slowing up the tempo, leading by 5 with 9:20 to go. King in, gets the basket, draws the foul as well.
King is just too quick for Spencer on the inside.
Two hot basketball teams. Louisville, they've won 14 of 16. And Oklahoma, they have won 18 of their last 19, including 6 in a row. Purvis Ellison, who knows what it's like to win a national title. 5th seeded Louisville. And Oklahoma seeded number 1. Their deepest foray in the NCAA tournament was the Final 8 3 years ago when they lost to Memphis State in overtime. And they want to get to that Final 4 for the first time. King, who was 5 for 10 at the line, hits the shot with a three-point point. So the story in the Southeastern Conference, in the Southeastern Regional, I should say. Villanova will play the winner of this game.
I heard you got one, Fred. I just had to come over and take a look.
Yeah, wanted one all my life. It's great. Look at the way it's put together. No wonder they last.
Mind if I just, sit behind the wheel? Oh, boy, would I like one of these. Can I take it for a spin?
Well, just in the front yard.
Oh, boy.
Nothing runs like a deer.
Chevy S10 invites you to own this real estate with the biggest engine ever offered in a compact 4x4. The most V6 power and torque available in a compact truck. V6 power to make your heart beat faster than ever.
The heartbeat of America. That's today's Chevy truck.
Up here, you catch them with experience. And when you've got them where you want them, you head for the beer that goes down smooth as a mountain stream. Push.
How are those horses doing? What horses?
Head for the mountains of Bush beer.
Well, tomorrow night's regional semifinal action continues. Much of the nation will see Michigan and North Carolina early, except those viewers in Kansas and Tennessee who will see Kansas and Vanderbilt. The later game features Purdue and Kansas State to much of the nation, and those viewers in the West, Minnesota, South Dakota, and Iowa will see Arizona take on Iowa. There's the three-point story.
Well, we know Louisville, that is not a strength of their ball club. They're a team that has to look inside. They have not been, well, in the last couple of, the first 2 years of the three-pointer being installed into college basketball, have not been able to utilize it very well.
LeBradford Smith gets it inside to Felton Spencer. Spencer gets his first points of the second half. He has 11. He's averaged 7 on the season. And once again, Oklahoma up by 6.
Stacey King cannot afford to pick up his 4th foul now, so he's got to back off a little bit defensively against Spencer.
Ricky Grace for 3 hits. Grace did not score early and now has picked up 11 in a hurry, 3 of them. 3-point shots, 85-76 now. A little breathing room with 8.5 minutes to go for Oklahoma.
But they had a little breathing room a few minutes ago, and that was cut pretty quickly.
Ellison, speaking of pretty quickly, comes back with 2. He has 16. He and Crook lead the Cardinals. King got great position and a block by Ellison. Great block from a great player. It was King, and Ellison matched it. Crook looking for Spencer. Grant preventing him, and a 5-second violation. He'll turn it over again in Oklahoma.
No one came to give any help to Crook that time, and he got stuck for the 5 seconds. Now look at that block by Purvis Ellison. He waited for Stacey King to put the ball up in the air.
Louisville's turned it over 11 times this half. Oklahoma has not taken advantage entirely on those turnovers. 4 personal fouls now on Felton Spencer. You talked about the fact that he's gotten into foul trouble in the past. 4 team fouls for Oklahoma and Louisville as Kenny Payne comes in, and Spencer will go out with his 4 fouls. He has scored 11 points.
And that's a big loss to this Louisville team because he was such a force at the offensive end of the court when he gets the ball down low.
Grace. Tipped in. Stacey King. And King now with 20. So Oklahoma has 2 players with 20 or more. Grant with 27 and King with 20.
Well, the game turned around again for Oklahoma as soon as Stacey King came back in the ball game.
Herbert Crook misses. They crash for the ball and the foul against Louisville. Herbert Crook with his 3rd foul and the 15th foul. Here's Mike Abram, who's been an able reserve guard and forward this season. Getting set to come back in. King misses. Ellison the rebound. Ellison has kept Louisville in the ballgame.
And they're going to have to look for him more at the offensive end of the court. Get it inside to him. Let him work a little bit against Stacey King.
The lead is 9. Ellison comes in and gets 2. So he's the man they're going to. Purvis Ellison is 9 for 12 in this game. 18 points. King fouled by Williams, and that's the 16th foul. 1 more, and Oklahoma will be in the bonus.
Well, there was a case where no one came down playing Seeger for Louisville. We saw that Ellison had to come out defensively on him and opened up the lane, and there was King, and he was able to draw the foul.
Abrams will replace Herbert Crook. Crook goes out having scored 16 points. 5 Cardinals have scored in double figures.
And this is the smallest team that Louisville's put on the court.
Grant, good passing from Grace, Blaylock, and Grant. And Harvey Grant now with 29 points. 9-point lead, 6:40 remaining. Ellison again. And Seeger might have affected his shot defensively. It went off the rim, and here comes Oklahoma.
Oklahoma trying to get it inside, but we know they're 3-point shooters, how effective they are.
Seeger tips it in. Dave Seeger on the tip. He only has 11. The lowest score of the starting front court, but that was a big tip in, and the lead is 11. Winding down to 6 minutes to go. Keith Williams off the mark. Ellison from behind. And Oklahoma controls. Do you see any fatigue at this stage of the game?
Yeah, absolutely. That's what I was going to mention, that fatigue appears to be becoming a factor, and this is what the game plan is for Oklahoma.
Grant.
Keep running.
31 points for Harvey Grant, and Denny Crum wants a timeout. biggest lead of the ball game for Oklahoma right here.
What you doing?
Hi, garage sale.
Garage sale? My lucky hat.
Moving means making lots of decisions. That's why Ryder helps you with our free Move It Yourself guide.
This came all the way from Hawaii.
Yeah, maybe a Hawaiian will buy it.
It helps you handle everything, from picking the best truck, to packing your china, to planning your expenses.
It's going to be worth a lot of money, sweetie. What do you think?
Honey, can we talk about this?
Ryder. We're there at every turn.
Starting April 23rd, only Northwest Airlines will prohibit smoking on all flights throughout North America. Northwest Airlines.
How to shave a giant. Avoid big trouble. Use the Gillette Good News Plus disposable. It's got the Lubra-Smooth strip, so the comfortable shave for a giant is...
this little guy.
Good News Plus from Gillette.
Who would you say is the most successful company? The one with the greatest first-year sales in American business history? The one that reached the Fortune 500 faster than any company in history? Or the one whose annual sales reached $1 billion faster than any company in history? It's not a difficult choice. The same company holds each record. The company that makes the world's most powerful personal computers. Compaq. It simply works better.
Oklahoma has its biggest lead, 93-80, and we always put the spotlight on the players who score and rebound or out on the floor, but there are always those who sit, wait, and watch, and there's an example of that on the bench. Will Olajies, 5 years at Louisville, he was a redshirt, has played 97 minutes out of a possible 5,000 plus, scored a total of 17 career points, but he's got something that a lot of people don't have, a championship ring for the 86 NCAA title, and he has a degree in economics. Denny Crum calls him a hard worker and cites a good work ethic, and I'm sure in practice Will Olajies sees a lot of action.
That's a great story. That's what college basketball is all about, being part of an outstanding basketball program as Louisville is.
Cardinals have to come back. Other than Ellison, where else can they go, Bill?
They can go inside to Spencer. The problem they have is that they do not have a good three-point shooting team, so if they get down any further, it could be a rough time for Louisville trying to get back.
And the turnovers can really hurt, as they did there. Race, travel. I mean, if someone were to tell you that if you're Denny Crum and that someone says that Louisville, your team will shoot 62% for the game, but you're going to be trailing by 13, would you believe it?
Absolutely not. But when you play Oklahoma, you have to take care of the basketball. Turnovers become such a big factor, and that's a key part of Oklahoma's game.
Kenny Payne comes in with a three. So don't count out Louisville yet. 22 turnovers, by the way, by Louisville has nullified a lot of that good shooting. Lead is 10. Now Louisville putting on the pressure. Wasn't pretty, but they got it across.
Now they have to have some patience. Oklahoma, I guess not. Let's just shoot the three.
Why start now?
Yeah.
Blaylock with a three. Mookie Blaylock with 17 in the game. And we have 4.5 to play. The lead is 13. LeBradford Smith gets it into Spencer. Watch out.
Now, if that young man can keep himself out of foul trouble as his career goes on, he is truly going to be a force for this Louisville program.
Only a sophomore, but Oklahoma has eyes on the final 8 of this tournament, maybe the final 4. They'd like to play Villanova in the Southeast Regional Final on Saturday. Grant has the ball knocked away, and it's still Oklahoma's ball. Crowd, I think, without question, mostly Louisville supporters, did not meet that ruling with approval.
But when they saw Seeger running after the ball, they just assumed that it had to be off an Oklahoma player. It wasn't. It was deflected by a Louisville player.
Under 4 minutes now remaining. Temple and Duke in the East. Villanova and the winner here in the Southeast.
It's hard to believe the shot clock's down to 10 seconds.
Race shot blocked by Spencer. still Oklahoma ball as Spencer couldn't hold on to it after he blocked the shot.
And a new 45 seconds on the clock.
Keith Williams is in, and LeBradford Smith goes out. The freshman Smith has scored 10 points tonight.
They're looking to use more of the clock now. Oklahoma's trying to milk as much of the clock as possible.
Keith Williams on the foul. That is his third foul. And that's the 17th foul, so Oklahoma is in the bonus, and Harvey Grant will shoot 1 and 1. But Oklahoma has struggled from the line tonight. Grant himself is 3 for 6 from the line. Last year, Oklahoma lost in the Western Regional Semifinals to Iowa. They've been in the Final 16 3 of the last 4 years, and looking to get to the Final 8 for the second time. And they are 3 minutes and 31 seconds away from reaching that point.
Now all of a sudden Louisville's the team that's got to push the ball, become a little more aggressive. If they score, look to go to a full court trap or full court pressure, try to create some turnovers. They don't have many three-point shooters on this ball club. They can look for Payne, who's a good three-point shooter, or for Williams for the three-point shot.
But Seeger is all over him. Here's Payne. Ellison keeps it alive, gets it out to Williams. But Seeger, good defense, beats him head on.
Right, they're aware they're going to try and force the two-point shot.
Spencer goes up and is fouled by Stacey King. That'll be his 4th personal foul, but only the 15th foul against the Sooners. Melton Spencer on the line, only 64% on the year, 1 for 3 tonight.
And they'll pick up and put a lot of defensive pressure on if he makes that second foul shot.
Down by 12. And an 11-point game with 3:07 remaining.
Oklahoma handled that pressure very easily, and now they'll try and use as much of that 45-second clock as they can.
Under 3 minutes to go. This is where Oklahoma will be the most patient, but they were nonstop from beginning to end, despite all the problems they might have had shooting and the turnovers. They kept playing their style. King now with 22 in the game, 187. For the 20th time this year, the Oklahoma Sooners have gone over the 100 mark. King grapples and wins. And here's Blaylock. Sooners in control here. And so the second number 1 seed will advance to the Final 8. Temple did in the East tonight in East Rutherford, and the Oklahoma Sooners will do it here in the Southeast. And tomorrow night it'll be up to Purdue and Arizona to try to match what Temple and Oklahoma did tonight. 2 minutes to play.
So difficult for Louisville to pressure because they don't have the quickness. The quickness is on Oklahoma.
Loose ball, and it's still Oklahoma's ball with 9 seconds to go on the clock. Mike Abram and LeBradford Smith check in. Spencer and Crook go out, and right now it looks like a dim night for the Kentucky teams here, who had hoped perhaps to meet once again in their great rivalry, but it doesn't look like it'll happen. Billy Tubbs Sooners looks like they're going to move on to play Rollie Massimino's Villanova Wildcats Saturday.
And we'll see quite a contrast in tempo in that ball game. It'll be interesting. It'll be a chess game to see which team will be able to get control of the game.
Steal by LeBradford Smith. But they're down by 13. Grant fouled by Abram. And he'll shoot 1 and 1. Well, the NCAA women's tournament is also underway. And there are some finals. Tennessee, Virginia, Maryland, and Louisiana Tech. All victors. Auburn, Texas, Long Beach State. And in the first half, it's 33-30.
Iowa winning that ball game.
That's right. And a weak Tacoma, Washington, you'll see the women's championship contested on CBS.
Another problem that Villanova will have, and Rolly Massimino has to figure out, he only likes to go 6, maybe 7 deep. And we've seen that Denny Crum has gone 9, 10 deep to play against this Oklahoma team.
You can't ask for a bigger contrast in style than we'll have with Villanova and Oklahoma. Three-point shot by Kenny Payne. 101-90 with 1:27 to go. And a quick foul.
The thing that's so impressive about this Oklahoma team is they just keep coming at you. They're relentless. They're going to play that 40 minutes of basketball with great intensity, great pressure defensively. Well-coached basketball team.
Mike Abram on the foul, and here is Ricky Grace. Grant tonight has scored 34 for Oklahoma. King 22. Blaylock 17 for Louisville. Ellison 18, Crook 16, Spencer and Payne 15. If you look at the Louisville scoring, they shot well tonight, had good scoring balance.
Turnovers, big factor in this ball game.
And Denny Crum will call a timeout. The lead is 13 for Oklahoma. They're one step closer to the Final Four.
Your life is changing, and State Farm is there.
I'm State Farm agent Jim McConnell. Terry Saylor's life insurance started out pretty simple. Then there were 3 children, 2 new mortgages, a big job promotion for Terry, and for Mrs. Saylor, a life plan of her own. 7 updates in just 6 years. State Farm agents are there to start you out with life insurance that works for you.
And like a good neighbor,
And we're there to keep it working for you.
State Farm is there.
Prior to owning the Chevrolet, I had a Ford. Well, I switched to the Chevy because I like the looks better than the Ford. I found out that they had completely redid the truck. You need a 4-wheel drive truck. You don't want to have to get out and lock your wheels in. If you want to go into 4-wheel drive, you can just shift into it. This Chevrolet truck is the best vehicle I have ever owned.
Heartbeat of America.
That's the Chevy truck. If you don't believe it, just go out and try it yourself.
When I tell someone the MCI card is better than AT&T's, they look at me funny. So I tell them our card saves them up to 25%. Then they look angry. But not with me.
Until you call, you'll never know how much better a long-distance company can be.
Who can resist the smoothness of an Noxzema shave? It's medicated. So close, so clean. Noxzema. She can't resist her, Mr. Irresistible.
13-point lead for Oklahoma with 1:27 to go. If they hold on to their lead, they'll play Villanova Saturday in the Southeast Regional Final, and the Southeast champion will play the West champion in Kansas City in that half of the bracket, while the East and Midwest are in the other half. Talk about the turnovers hurting Louisville tonight, but the three-point shooting of Oklahoma, 10 out of 18. Compared to 4 for 9 for Louisville, told a very big part of the story.
They've had such outstanding performances from the inside people, from Grant and King. That just opens it up. You have to, there's so much pressure on a coach. Do you go inside and help out inside, or do you stay out and protect against the three-point shot?
Speaking of three-pointers, Louisville's got to try a bundle here. And they hit. Kenny Payne hits a 3, and it's 103-93, 1:10 to go. Blaylock gets it across and is fouled immediately by Keith Williams, and he'll shoot 1 and 1. Villanova and Oklahoma have never met, so their meeting for the right to go to the Final Four will be their first meeting. However, they were both in the first ever Final Four way back in 1939. Yes, Villanova, Oklahoma joined Ohio State and Oregon.
And Oregon won that.
That's right. You were there.
I was there.
Only kidding, William.
You know, the funny thing is the NCAA lost money on that tournament. Lost $2,500. I think times have changed.
Yep, they have. Oklahoma a lot of credit. They're not even letting Louisville take a lot of three-point shots to get back.
Well, that's what Billy Tubbs, he wants his team to play 40 minutes of basketball. Not 39 minutes and 13 seconds, the whole 40 minutes.
And it was Crum who said defense would tell the story, and he was right, but it was Oklahoma's defense that really finally put the clamps down. This game was a close game most of the way. Louisville had an 8-point lead in the first half. Oklahoma came back and had a 5-point lead a couple of times, but Louisville came back, and then they stretched it to 6, 8, 11, and then 13, and they did it on the defensive end. They caused turnovers.
Yeah, and another factor, too, was Stacey King came back off the bench. He was over there with 3 fouls, came back in, and then they were able to really compete against this bigger Louisville team on the boards.
You know, Billy, it had to hurt Louisville also that Purvis Ellison was used to break the press more than they could have used him offensively inside.
I'm sure that's a big factor, but that's something he had to do. If this team had any chance, Denny Crum had to use him, especially in the first half, to break that trap and make the decisions with the pass.
Payne misses a 3. Ellison gets the basket and draws the foul. Purvis Ellison came back and had a big year, and in fact, Denny Crum said it was unfair for people to criticize Ellison for his performance last year because the Cardinals really had no outside shooting threat, and so teams were able to double and triple team him, and so you have to judge that as well.
And he had such a fine Final Four his freshman year, winning MVP. So everyone was just expecting so much from this young man, and now one person's going to win anything in this game of basketball.
You saw the impressive numbers, double figures in points and rebounds. 105-96. King. 24 for King, 34 for Grant. They've been the 1-2 punch, and Grace and Blaylock have 14 assists between them.
The scary thing about Villanova is this Oklahoma team looks like they're as fresh as they were in the first 2 minutes of the ball game.
Williams misses. Ellison comes back with 2 more, and a timeout called by Louisville with 9 seconds to go. Denny Crum says, all right, he's been winning and he's been losing in his career, mostly winning.
Come on, everybody, Bud Light's got a brand new dance. Bud McKenzie's gonna do it. There's nothing to it to the Bud Light slide. We'll tell left and right when the music's hot. Have a cold Bud Light to the Bud Light slide.
Bud McKenzie parties with only Bud Light. He knows everything else is just a light.
Cold Bud. Have a cold Bud Light to the Bud Light slide.
Every 10 seconds of every hour of every business day, America puts a brand new Epson computer or printer to work. Imagine that. Businesses of every kind and size putting the power of Epson into millions of hands. Every 10 seconds, another new Epson. It's true. When you've got an Epson, you've got a lot of company.
My dad and I have owned Ford trucks for as long as I can remember. If somebody had told me 3 months ago that I'd be driving a Chevy truck, well, I wouldn't have believed them. Well, I took a look at the new Chevy truck, and they've totally redesigned the truck. And test drove it. That was enough to sell me on it. It's got the Vortec V6. It's got plenty of power. They've had tough competition from Ford, and they've beat them.
The heartbeat of America, that's today's Chevy truck.
Chevrolet's done their homework on this truck.
Our crack research team, who told you about Oklahoma being in that original Final Four in 1939. They didn't have many teams, 8 teams in all in the tournament. Oklahoma did get to the Final Four, lost to Holy Cross in 1947. So it'll be 41 years if Oklahoma can beat Villanova. It's been a long time, and I know none of these kids remember the last time.
No, not one of them. Maybe their parents do.
Sooners #1 moving on, and they went over 100 points. They had beaten Auburn 107-87. They scored 94 in beating Tennessee Chattanooga. And so maybe for Oklahoma, that Auburn story still hangs in. The last two teams to knock Auburn out has won the NCAA tournament. LeBradford Smith fouled out. He had scored 10 points. He's only a freshman. You'll see a lot more of him.
I know one person that isn't happy about that. It's Sonny Smith down in Auburn.
That's right. He lost to Louisville in '86, in Indiana last year, lost to Oklahoma this year. And
if it happens again.
7 seconds remaining. Intentional foul, and he made 1 out of 2. And Oklahoma will inbound with 7 seconds to go and a 10-point lead. So we had a lot of blue in the crowd in the first game, with Villanova beating Kentucky in the main color red here, as Oklahoma wraps it up against Louisville. And Blaylock shot, and that's it, 108-98. Harvey Grant, 34 points, a big game. Purvis Ellison scored 23 to lead Louisville, and Billy Tubbs, it gets to the final 8. He'll play Villanova. What an interesting matchup that'll be.
It will be because of the contrasting styles of play. Villanova will try and control the tempo, keep the ball game in the 70s. Oklahoma will try and get into the hundreds.